Black in the building. Man, there's so much shit going on. Shout out to everybody out there at the Core Plantation. If you are there, man, much power and respect to you. Man, it got a little cold out here in this motherfucker. I mean, shit. It got super cold, this motherfucker, man. So shout out to everybody out there that's handling business, doing what they need to do to survive. Man, inflation is like a motherfucker. We're going to go through a couple list of things that we're going to talk about today. We're definitely going to talk about the hate crimes, hate crime madness, but we don't have a hate crime bill. We're going to talk about the war. Of course, y'all Biden sexuals and liberals thought that Biden was going to be the savior, and now we in a war. So we're going to talk about that, discuss that issue, and we're just going to talk about how it relates to us. We're going to talk about inflation. We're going to talk about how much shit costs. We're going to get into all that shit. Shout out to everybody at the Core Plantation that's not telling on people. We're going to definitely talk about motherfuckers that tell on people versus motherfuckers that just do their job and go the fuck home. So, these are just things that we're going to be worried about. You like, why are we talking about the war? Well, because with war comes higher gas prices. Y'all don't remember 2003? And oil, if I'm not mistaken, the price of oil is what, $100 a barrel? So now if it's $100 a barrel, that means gas is going to be $4 a gallon. It's going to be to the point where they're going to force you to get electric cars. Then electricity is going to go up. Then they're going to be charging motherfuckers how many kilowatts of electricity you using. Oh, it's all going down. Inflation is a motherfucker. So we're going to get into it right now. Shout out to everybody out there. Shawnee, Erica, 066, Screwhead, Tasha, Tamisha. You already know what it is. We're about to get into it right now, though. Very, very, very important to get into it right now. Man, shout out to everybody out there, man. I don't know about y'all, man, but man, shit is a grip right now. I'm like, God damn. Shit is costing a grip. Let's see. I know they said that it was the average, I think is what? Okay, yeah, oil top's like $100. Because I saw it on my news feed. Oil top's $100 a barrel, which when will you see $4 a gallon gas in your state? Oh, it's coming to a state near you. No state is coming from that. We gonna play a little bit of that, as well as we're gonna talk about the war, Biden and all you motherfuckers talking about, well, you know what I'm saying? I like Biden, man, because he's not as racist as Joe Biden. I mean, he's not as racist as Donald Trump. Well, do you want the motherfucker that's gonna tell you they face they don't fuck with you, or you gonna want the motherfucker that's gonna smile with you, but they behind closed doors they don't fuck with you? Like, you want somebody to stab you in the back, or you want somebody to try to stab you in the front? Like, that's crazy. But that's just how people see it and how they view it, man. It's a lot of stuff to discuss as far as just, I feel like now in today's society, we need to start really researching and reading. I forgot the name of the book that I'm reading. I think it's not the Kidnapping Club, but it's about these 5 kids that got kidnapped in the antebellum period. They talked about George Washington a little bit, but yeah, it's a very, very good book. It's starting off very, very interesting about how these kids was just getting lured down these streets. It's like reading Hostel, or just reading something where oh yeah, come on, man, I got a job for you to do. The book is crazy. It talks about how back then wages was hard to come by, so if a kid, if somebody want to make some extra money or do something, they'll basically do whatever white folk tell them so they can get paid the little pennies to the dollar. Well, these white motherfuckers was going around acting like they was going to pay you motherfucking some type of a wage, and they get you in the alley, then they fucking handcuff you. Not really handcuff you, but they gag you and shit, and they sell you down the river, basically, the Delaware River, so you can get sold into slavery. So it's just like, motherfuckers act like that was 1,000 years ago. Nigga, the 18 and 1900s was not no 1,000 years ago. And motherfuckers act like we supposed to just forget about all the bullshit that has been done to us and our people after we built the country for free. So I think we have to start waking up and understanding these type of situations. Stop worrying about the small things. Start worrying about the things that matters most to you. Don't worry about what everybody else got going on. So I just wanted to kind of touch on that. And I also wanted to touch on the hate crime madness. Now, how is it all of a sudden y'all want to start convicting these white supremacists of hate crimes, but this shit has been going on for 9 years, 10 years? Oscar Grant, hate crime. That cop knew what he was doing when he killed Oscar Grant. Philando Castile, hate crime. Mike Brown, hate crime. Y'all know this shit has been going on. Sandra Bland, hate crime. Come on. Freddie Gray, hate crime. But now all of a sudden, see, this is what y'all need to understand, because it's re-election time. And you know, these Republicans are getting fired up, and they have the will of the people right now because people are not too excited and are not too happy with what the fuck Joe 94 crime bill Biden has been doing. Now he's going to cater and pander to not just the dominant society, but he's going to pander more to the black folk. My question to black folk is, well, why would y'all sign an Asian hate crime bill, but black folk have been getting murdered in this country for the last 500 years? So should we be the first one on the list for a hate crime bill? See, now's the time where you hold a motherfucker's feet to the fire. And we had this conversation on Twitter Spaces. Man, when I get a chance, I'm gonna start doing Twitter Spaces. I might start mixing it up. You know, I'm gonna still do my podcast, but I'm gonna start some days. I'm just gonna wait, do a Twitter Space, and just kind of screen record it and upload it to my YouTube page. Because we were talking about, I had brung up this point. I wish I would screen recorded it, and I was very, very good Twitter Space, and I said, it's so funny how Bill Cosby, they removed his name from the college. They didn't give him his money back. But J. Edgar Hoover is responsible and the architect behind the murders of Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, but they still got his name on the FBI building. They still got his name on the FBI building. Was also quick to take it. And all Bill Cosby was doing was allegedly raping women, which he was not raping women. Women were willingly going and taking those drugs and going back. So, because if you got raped, you're going to keep going back to get raped? If you don't have to, you're not going to do that. So they took his name off of college, and he gave him $40 million. They didn't give him his money back. But J. Edgar Hoover is responsible for murdering icons, black civil rights leaders. They didn't remove his name at all. And these are just things that we have to understand, and we got to stop allowing them to make us feel bad about wanting reparations. That's what I was talking about too. Oftentimes, the dominant society is very good at making black folk feel bad about wanting reparations and wanting to be financially stable. They like us in this, I would say, decrepit, decadent mental financial state where we feel like, well, we are supposed to be broke. You know, we black folk and we supposed to be poor, and no. And then what we do is we internalize it, and then when we open up our eyes, we only feel like a certain demographic of black folks should have money. And if, like Billy Carson, being woke does not mean being broke. You know what I'm saying? Because we associate brokenness with wokeness. Because we feel like you can't be woke and be financially stable and financially free. We often view each other like, well, no, you can't do that. If you're going to be woke, then you got to be broke. And we don't want to see other people win. The thing that I've learned the most too is that we don't like to get the knowledge. We want to take the cliff notes in the short way. You know what I mean? And trust me, I've thought about that too. Another thing that I mentioned too is niggas need to start getting life insurance policies. Stop having car washes for little Kiki and little Cravion, little Travion. Y'all niggas need to go get life insurance. If you got life insurance on your phone, you should have life insurance on your children. You should have life insurance on yourself. That's how generational wealth is passed down. But a lot of the times we don't want to pass down that generational wealth because we're not taught that. You know, when I have these conversations, a lot of times now I just kind of like listen, not just the Twitter Spaces, even when I'm talking to my family, you know, I feel like a lot of the times we're like, I got to get mine. I can't, and that's true. You got to be an individual first, and then you got to be a team player second. But a lot of the times we spend our whole life just being an individual. And then when we get around people that have a team concept, it's foreign to us. But a team concept isn't getting around people, as Nearly Fuller Jr. talks about, just doing the four-wall effect. Well, let's just get together and do what? I don't want to march. I don't want to whine. I don't want to repeat. I don't want to be, Black Lives Matter. You see what they do in the Black Lives Matter? Them motherfuckers was running game. Because that's what the United States of America has. They've created this backbiting spirit amongst the people now that on a tragedy, I'm going to use that to come up, because a lot of the behavior that you see and a lot of the characteristics and the things that you see, we're just modeling the behavior of the dominant society, because they're the ones who are the authors of a lot of these narratives that's being pushed out there. And a lot of times I just feel like we don't want to listen. And I feel like a lot of the times it's because we think we know. I can tell you, I was the same way. A lot of times I did listen. You know what I mean? Because I knew deep down inside things was going to get tight. Just like right now. Inflation is at an all-time high. And I'm not just talking about Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm talking about Cali, Vegas, Texas, Georgia, everywhere. Inflation is a motherfucker right now. So if you're not making, financial moves that are better yourself, and you're not around yourself and putting yourself in position where you're around people that can teach you, kind of give you the game, I don't know what to tell you, man. Because it is hard on the yard, it's real on the field, and it is no joke. And the reason why I say it's no joke is because, see, they about to go to war. But people are like, oh, well, that don't affect me. Well, nigga, if you're working a 9-to-5 job at a corporate plantation and you are ATM, meaning ass to mouth, because a job is meant to maintain you, not to make you rich, you better be worried. You better be coming up and trying to come up with different streams of revenue. You better have your own little way of thinking and doing things. You better go try to get you some property. You better go do that and learn and build, because it's not going to be for play anymore. All these motherfuckers out here jumping around like jumping jack motherfucking Mexican beans and shit, because they got this goddamn Raider stadium. Now Las Vegas can do what the fuck they've been wanting to do. Now we can just raise up the prices and rape motherfuckers blind. Now, everything I've been saying this for the last year and a half. Everything is going to be at an all-time high. And I really hope with inflation that people will start to come together. When I mean people, I mean foundational Black Americans. Come together, have plans. We should start trying to build businesses, support Black businesses, and not just that, support yourself. Put yourself first, not everybody else. Stop getting on the phone with people if they don't have nothing meaningful to talk about. And when I mean meaningful, that doesn't mean hotep shit or peace, my brother. I'm talking about, like, if motherfucker get on the phone, it's got to be some real shit that you're talking about. Because all this other shit, you're just wasting time. You're jogging in place or running in place. You're doing lateral movement and not forward movement. If oil's $100 a barrel and gas gonna be $4 or $5 a gallon, that's gonna be the norm. And you say, well, I go get an electric car. Well, nigga, I can't speak for other states, but if you live in Las Vegas, Nevada, if you live in Nevada, period, especially Las Vegas, Nevada, Warren Buffett has the fucking market cornered because he owns Nevada Power, which is NV Energy. He owns that. People don't even know that motherfucking Warren Buffett owns that shit. People have no idea. They think it's still some motherfucker in Nevada that own that shit. No, he owns that. And he bought it right before the economic boom in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's when he bought it. And people don't even know that shit. And that's why the Utilities Commission, there was another energy company that wanted to come out here to compete. And they was like, nah, they denied it. Yeah, nigga, because money talks and bullshit walks. And we're not going to have no other competitor. We're only going to have one. And that'll be Nevada Power. And we don't understand that. So yeah, go ahead and go get your electric car. And guess what? We going to rape you with that shit too. You got to charge that motherfucker. So go ahead and go get it. And by the way, when you go get it, we going to need about $60,000, $70,000 worth of funds. Because, nigga, this ain't no motherfucking Toyota Camry or no motherfucking Nissan and none of that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are just things that we have to wake up. You get something nice. Ain't nothing wrong with getting something nice. But if you're going to get something nice, get it for you because you want it. Don't get it because of what everybody will picture you, how you look in it. Because perception is people's reality. So they can perceive anything. They can perceive you balling. They can perceive you don't have it. Always understand this. Looking like $1 million and don't have a quarter in your pocket is what my mom would call a perpetrator. You perpetrate. You ain't got no money. You know what I mean? And none of us really as a people, as a whole, yeah, we don't have any money. We're behind the line, but that does not mean we have to compete with each other. I always talk about this too on Twitter Spaces. we have been socialized and engineered to compete with each other as if we're not on the same team. Racism is a team sport. Racism is a collective. It's the competition of resources. So it's a team sport. So you can't beat racism by yourself. It's systematic. That's why racism works so well, because it's ran as a team. That's why you have more dominant society people that will flip mode as the squad and claim white fragility, like they don't know what's going on, and deflect and act like they don't know what it is, because we have so many of us that will take up for them instead of holding their feet to the fire. Look at Joe Rogan. So many people coming out and saying, oh, well, he's not racist, he's not racist, not racist. Now, this is just my personal opinion. Joe Rogan, you know what you're doing. Nigger, like, you know what you're doing. And I'm going to just use this example. I bet you I can't have no podcast and get big, and Spotify and them pay me to be saying a whole bunch of Jewish slurs. They take me off the air right away. They take me off the podcast right away. So why is it that the white Jewish community did not build this country, but there's so much reverence given to them, but we don't even have enough intrinsic value in ourselves to be like, wait, hold on. No, man, you're gonna treat black folk just like you treat the white Jewish community. You're not gonna get up and say that shit about white Jewish people, so why the fuck are you saying that shit about black folk? And then black folk need to stop letting them turn the page and letting them change the qualifications of what racism is, all this other stuff. And to stop letting them take you on an emotional roller coaster. You say, the racism shit is separate right now. Why are you saying that? Why do you feel like you need to say it? That's one. And two, why don't you have anything racial to say about the white Jewish community? Which really, they're not even a race, it's a religion. But motherfuckers want to cloak it into a race because that's what white folk do. Just like all of a sudden they call Latinos Hispanics. It's like, wait, what? Hispanic is not a race. You don't fill that out on the census. There's no Hispanic, but they just made it up. And then when you call a motherfucker white Hispanic, I'm not white. Well, yeah, that's what y'all classify yourselves as. No, it ain't. Okay, then what the fuck is Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez then? I don't know. White Hispanics. That's what they are. But look, man, I'm going to tell you this right now. We got to wake up. We got to understand what it is. I was going to play the thing about the gas, but you already know how gas is and what it fluctuates to be. I feel like now more than ever, you need to stay in your lane and focus on what you need to do. And it is very hard to focus on what you need to do when you got to go to the core plantation. You got bills to pay. Shit is going up. Inflation. It's very difficult to fucking maintain that focus on your lane. The only advice I could tell you is sometimes just be by yourself so you can think more clearly and have a better perspective on what you want to do. Which means there might be times where you distant from family members and friends, but that gives you time. And it brings great solace to you and your spirit when you're handling business and doing things that you need to do that'll better your situation. Stop waiting around and see what people gonna give you, because let me tell you something. You'll fuck around and you'll die before them, and then you just a motherfucker waiting around for nothing. Oh, now you did. So you better go try to live your life to the fullest, but still maintain a level of discernment when you handling business. Hey, man, I appreciate everybody listening, subscribing. I got to go. Like, these podcasts going to be 15 to 20 minutes for real this time, man, because I got other shit that I got to do. Hey, man, maintain, love, and live life. Y'all niggas already know. If you out here buck dancing and cooning and telling about the gun line, Hayward Shepherd Steve from Django's, I don't fuck with you. You already know what it is. Guilty, nigga. I'm out. Peace.